Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, Alex here. So for those of you who've watched my channel before, or for those of you who are new to my channel, it should be no surprise that I am currently a teacher's candidate in Ontario, Canada, going to York University, and today I just thought I'd take a few minutes to talk about why you should become a teacher, or why you should at least consider going into the teaching profession. And from my experience, I've curated a list of 7 items, so with that said, let's get into it. So starting us off, and this is going to be a pretty obvious one, if you like working with kids, you should look into becoming a teacher. And now when I say kids, I don't necessarily mean children from the age of like 5 to 10, so kindergarten through to grade 5. I also mean your preteens and adolescents, well, and I guess even your teenagers as well. So all the way up to grade 12, or in some places wherever you may be if you have a grade 13. And I'm not going to talk about this one too much just because it's pretty straightforward and it actually ties into my second reason, and that is that you want to impact the lives of children and the future generations to come. I think it's well established by now that teachers have the opportunity to impact students' lives, and research indicates that the quality of teaching that students receive impacts their academic success and performance later in life. And I think as a teacher, it's also a great opportunity if you love to watch people develop. You can watch students come into your class not knowing something or not knowing anything about a specific topic, and watch them grow and develop and take to concepts and connect it with other subjects in their daily lives. And I think that's something that's really cool and really inspirational. And I know for most of my friends, that's one of the reasons that they became a teacher. And if you want, you can also look at this from the lens of wanting to help other people. You're helping them to grow and develop into a new and better person, who's able to contribute more to their family and their society and their community. And this means that as a teacher, you can leave a lasting impact that affects generations to come. Who knows what your students will go on to do because of the inspiration that you provided them? And I think that the famous author Henry B. Adams said this really well, as he once said that a teacher affects eternity. He never knows where his influence will stop. And that's very true. As I just said, you never know what your students are going to go on to do or succeed or how they're going to contribute to the growth of the world moving forward. And this brings me to my third point, the idea that no 2 workdays will ever be the same. You're always going to be dealing with new students and new colleagues and new topics, and that will change out year after year or might even be changing with the coming months. You never know what advances or research is going to be showing in specific subject areas that you're teaching. You never know what types of students or what types of changes in their lives are going to affect your classroom and your teaching. And you're going to have to tailor your teaching to work with every single one of your students and colleagues, and give them the best chance to succeed. So if you don't like routine and you like problem solving and just figuring things out and a constructive work environment, this is definitely the profession for you. And I think this combines well with the fact that we're moving more towards a student-centered pedagogy education system, where we're not just disseminating facts to our students and expecting them to memorize it. We're asking them to take the facts and knowledge, learn it, and then apply it to their everyday lives, and see how they can improve things. So with more discoveries and with different students and different personalities in your classroom and the different ability for students to collaborate, you really have an opportunity to see something new and exciting every single day that you're in the classroom. And again, this actually connects well to my fourth point, and that is that teaching is a great outlet for creativity. If you think of it, in your classroom, you can pretty much do whatever you like as long as it follows the guidelines by your Ministry of Education. You can teach lectures however you want, and therefore you can have students learn in a variety of ways. You can ask students to do lecturing, and you can assess students in so many ways that aren't even imaginable. And that's only going to change as we develop more technology and a better understanding of what education is going to look like moving forward. I think now, as I've mentioned about the student-centered pedagogy, we've moved away from traditional lecturing, where you just have to create a slideshow and talk to your students for an hour and you send them home with a pile of homework and they bring it in the next day. And we moved more in towards this short little lesson to give a couple facts and some baseline knowledge for students to learn, and then they take it and go with it from there. So it's become really fun as a teacher to create open-ended questions and assignments to have students think and apply it to their own lives. And as I just mentioned, it can be really cool and exciting. And that's not only necessarily with the assignments you're given, but as you're marking them, you're going to see massive growth in your students, and you're going to see things that you couldn't even imagine. You're going to see students asking to change the world in ways you didn't think of and contributing to communities that you didn't even know you might have been a part of. And I just think that this is going to be great moving forward. Now I think for my last 3 points, I'm going to try and change it up and just move a little bit away from focusing on students and really focusing on the perks of the job itself. And obviously, because I'm only going to be talking about 3 main things here, I'm not going to be able to touch on all of the perks, but I might mention 1 or 2 at the end and not really talk about them, but just to give you an idea that there are more perks other than what I'm talking about here. So my 5th reason for why you should become a teacher, or at least consider it, is that it is a great family-friendly schedule. Now, don't get me wrong, like, you do have work when you go home from teaching. It's not necessarily an 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. job. You are occasionally going to have to go home and do your lesson planning for classes if you don't get it done during the day, or take some marking home, but it's exactly that, you are able to take it home. And if you think that you end at 2 or 3 p.m., if you have a partner, you can generally get all of this done before your partner comes home at 5 or 6 p.m., or if you have kids, they probably have homework and assignments that they're going to be working on, that you can mark and plan your lessons during. But more so, why this is so attractive is that you get a lot of time off. And if you have kids, this time coincides with the time that they have off. So for example, in some school boards you get 2 weeks off at Christmas, and others you get 3, depending on the school board and the type of education system that you're in. And in the summer here in Canada, you get 2 complete months off. Now there are going to be the odd professional development things that you're going to want to do in the summer, and I'm going to touch on that in my 6th reason, but it still doesn't change the fact that you get 2 months off in the summer to enjoy and do what you want and pick up a hobby. In fact, a few of my friends that have started teaching have already actually decided what they're going to be doing in the summer. Some of them have gotten real estate licenses, some of them have gotten cottages or second properties or little hobby farms to work on, and some of them just want to sit down and relax with their family. Either way, you can do anything you want. And actually, I didn't talk about this one yet, but I think a really cool thing that one of my friends has done is they have bought a bunch of materials and they are starting up a woodworking shop. And that's what they're going to do over the 2 months, and then sell their products over the course of the year and sort of develop a business out of it, making signs for wedding and other things. Sorry, that just came to me because I'm actually getting married a month from when this is going to be posted. So yeah, it's actually pretty insane. But anyways, back to the point. You do, as a teacher, have the opportunity to pursue your interests in your spare time, or spend that time with your family. Now my 6th reason, and that comes down to professional development. Generally, if you're going to be a teacher, you probably love learning and love dealing with new people, and again, I sort of just said it, but learning new things. And the great thing about teaching is that they actually incentivize you to do more learning and do more schooling. So even if you're just taking the odd course to get another teachable, or you want to become a guidance counselor or a principal and you take the courses related to those specific professions and career paths, the school boards will generally pay for them, at least partially, and they also come along with a nice pay increase or other benefits on the side. So if you love to keep learning, you can at least get incentivized to do that, and the school boards compensate you quite handsomely for it. And then the last reason that I want to talk about today is the fact that teaching credentials are very portable. Anywhere you go that has people has teachers. So if you decide that you want to move, whether that's provinces or states, if you want to move countries, if you want to move to different school boards, you can do that easily. And there's always new teaching positions being open because the teaching industry is actually growing. As long as our population is increasing and our cities are expanding more and more towards their limits, there's going to be new schools that open up. I think in one of the school boards that I'm interested in teaching in, I was talking with one of the administrators there, and they had said that in the next 5 to 10 years, they're going to be opening up almost 30 schools, around 10 of which will be high schools, which is, well, where I'm going to be working. So that's a great incentive to get into teaching if you can see that, hey, I have the opportunity to start working pretty much right away. And I mean, the pay is quite good as well. And since you're a government employee, you've got benefits generally, and a pension, which sets you up well for retirement. And those were actually the other perks that I wanted to mention at the end of the video, so I think I'll probably just cut it there. But anyways, if you have any questions about any of the things I just mentioned, or have any other ideas of why you should be a teacher or some of the pros to teaching, please comment them down below, and I'll be sure to get back to you. But anyways, that's the end of this video, everyone. Thank you for watching, and I hope you learned something new, and I hope you'll at least consider going into the teaching profession. So if you enjoyed this content and want to see more like it, or some of my science demonstrations, or the teaching podcasts that I host on this channel, please consider liking and subscribing to my channel. It goes a long way in helping a new YouTube content creator like myself out. And just as a little bit of a side note, I'm going to be writing my provincial licensing exam next week, so I might not be able to post a video. I'm going to try to get one out, but obviously with filming and editing, that does take up a day, and I do have a lot to study before Friday when I write it. So hopefully I'll see you all next week, but if not, I'll only be gone for a week, so don't worry too much. But with that said, please stay happy, safe, and healthy, and enjoy your day. Bye everyone!